You are not the first kind of human to walk this earth. That sounds like science fiction at first, like a line from a movie about time travel. But it is not fiction. It is one of the most well supported and quietly disturbing facts in science. There were others before you. Not grandparents, not primitive ancestors hunched over fire. Other species of human. People who walked upright, made tools, built communities, and looked up at the same sky. They survived for hundreds of thousands of years, spread across continents, endured ice ages, volcanic winters, and nearly everything Earth could throw at them. And then they were gone. The question is not whether this happened. We know it did. The question scientists still argue over is what your ancestors had to do with it. For most of history, no one could ask that. These other humans left no writing. Their evidence was buried in rock, bones, teeth, and tools pressed into sediment for thousands of years. Only in the mid-19th century, when workers in Germany's Neander Valley found a strange skull, did anyone realize something profound. This was human, but unlike any human alive today. That skull changed everything. It belonged to Homo neanderthalensis, Neanderthals. For the next century and a half, scientists debated how they lived and what happened to them. You probably imagine Neanderthals as brutish cave dwellers, grunting, dirty, simple. That image is wrong. It was built on bad science and worse assumptions, and researchers have dismantled it piece by piece. Neanderthals buried their dead. They cared for the sick and elderly. Some skeletons show severe disability. Yet those individuals lived to old age, meaning others fed, protected, and kept them alive. They made jewelry from eagle talons and shells. They used pigments in ways that suggest symbolic thought, possibly art. João Zilhão and his team found decorated shells in Spanish caves, dated to at least 115,000 years ago, long before modern humans reached Europe. They were not simple. They were not brutes. They were people. And they are gone. Here is where the story becomes strange and the science starts to feel personal. For most of the 20th century, the dominant theory was replacement. Homo sapiens left Africa roughly 70,000 years ago, spread through Europe and Asia, and outcompeted Neanderthals. Better tools, better social networks, better language. The Neanderthals declined and vanished. A tragic, tidy story. Then DNA happened. In 2010, Svante Pääbo and his team sequenced the Neanderthal genome, pulling ancient DNA from bones buried for 40,000 years. What they found rewrote the textbooks. If you are of non-African descent, roughly 1 to 4% of your DNA is Neanderthal. Literally. Your genome contains sequences from Neanderthal individuals who had children with modern humans. Somewhere between 40,000 and 60,000 years ago, your ancestors and Neanderthals met, recognized each other as familiar, and had children. Eventually, you were born carrying fragments of their code in every cell. They are not entirely gone. They are inside you. That changes the replacement story. The boundary between us and them was never as sharp as we imagined. On one level, Neanderthals disappeared. On another, they merged into the population that became much of modern humanity outside Africa. Absorption and extinction are not the same thing, but they are not entirely different either, and Neanderthals were not the only ones. In 2008, in Siberia's Altai Mountains, scientists found a tiny fingerbone fragment. Its shape revealed little, but its DNA was extraordinary. It belonged to a previously unknown human species that had split from the Neanderthal line at least 400,000 years earlier. They were named Denisovans, after the cave where they were found. We have almost no Denisovan remains, a finger bone, a few teeth, a jaw fragment, but their DNA lives on across Asia and the Pacific. People in Papua New Guinea and Aboriginal Australians can carry up to 5% Denisovan DNA. Tibetan populations carry a Denisovan gene variant that helps them survive at high altitude. That adaptation was a gift from a people who no longer exist as a distinct species. There may have been others. Ancient DNA hints at ghost populations, archaic human groups who interbred with your ancestors and left genetic traces, but whose bones have never been found. People who vanished so completely that their only record is a faint signal in your genome. So, what happened to all of them? The honest answer is several things, probably at once. Climate was one factor. Earth 40,000 years ago was unstable. Ice advanced and retreated. Forests shrank. Animal populations migrated or collapsed. Neanderthal groups were already small and fragmented when modern humans reached Europe. Small populations are vulnerable because of mathematics. Disease, a catastrophic winter, or a failed hunting season can destroy an isolated community in ways a larger population can survive. Competition was another factor. Not necessarily open warfare, though that likely happened in places, but slower competition for food, shelter, and a territory. Modern humans seem to have had wider social networks, trading information, materials, and innovations across long distances. A new tool or hunting method could spread hundreds of miles in a few generations. Neanderthal communities appear to have been more isolated. What worked in one valley often stayed there. But the darkest possibility is that modern humans did not merely outcompete Neanderthals. They killed them. Directly. Deliberately. There is no definitive evidence of organized violence, no mass graves showing clear wounds from modern human weapons. But absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. Paleoanthropologist Chris Stringer has noted that Neanderthal extinction patterns are too consistent to be explained by climate alone. Wherever modern humans expanded, other human species disappeared within a few thousand years. Disease is another strong candidate. Your ancestors entered new lands carrying pathogens local populations had never encountered. Neanderthals may have had little defense against certain modern human diseases, much as indigenous populations in the Americas had no defense against smallpox thousands of years later. One illness could ripple through a small group and erase it in a generation. Whatever the mechanism, disease, competition, interbreeding, violence, or all of them together, the result was the same. A world once home to multiple kinds of human became, for the first time in millions of years, a world with only one. You. Or rather, your kind. And even that phrase flattens the truth. The humans who survived were not one pure population. They were diverse, carrying genetic contributions from archaic groups shaped by migration, adaptation, and absorption. Your origin is not one lineage marching cleanly through time. It is collision, merging, children born between people different enough to be called separate species, yet similar enough to love, reproduce, and survive. You are not a pure thing. No human is. You are a mosaic. Remember that when human boundaries feel ancient or biological, biology tells another story. Boundaries crossed, populations merged, genetic material flowing between kinds of humans across hundreds of thousands of years. Svante Pääbo, who won the 2022 Nobel Prize for this work, has said what makes modern humans unusual may not be brain size, tools, or even language, but something harder to measure: restlessness. A drive to keep moving, to go farther than the last generation, to cross the mountain and meet whoever is on the other side. That drive is why you are here. It is also, in part, why the others are not. Your ancestors moved when others stayed. They adapted when others could not. When they met different humans, they did not always treat them kindly. Yet, they also merged with them in ways permanent enough to echo inside you now. The Neanderthal who once looked up at this same sky is not entirely gone. They live in your immune system, in proteins that help your body fight infections. They live in genes that shape brain development. They live in the subtle architecture of your face. You have always wondered where you come from. Now you know. You come from a long, violent, intimate collision between kinds of humans different enough to be separate species and similar enough to have children. You are the last human standing, and in every cell of your body, you are all of them.